Well, coasters, it's Bruce here, and I tell you what, the snow on the mountains today is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anyway, back to what we're here for. Now I'm with Graeme Sinclair. Now Graeme, for the last 27 years, has been the producer of the Gone Fishing series. He's a friggin' legend in New Zealand, and I'm not sure how many years Ocean Bounty's been going, but it feels like, Amy, how many is it?
About 4 seasons now, isn't it, Graeme?
Yeah. This block of shows is finishing series 4 that was interrupted by bloody COVID.
Oh, gee. And look, with Graeme, I've got Amy Moore. Amy's she has a company called the Change Office. She's from a very, very well-known coast fishing family. Her mum and dad are Penny and Craig from North Beach Fishing. Tell me, Saturday night, we've waited so long, and it's finally arrived. 5 o'clock on TV3. Graeme, what on earth got you into the series here, the Ocean Bounty, with so much of the coast being?
Well, the coast thing. My mother was born in Bulla. She was a Westport girl, so I've always had an affinity with the coast. Shot a few deer in the scrub in various places up and down the coast. So the coast is in my blood, I think. But the reason for Ocean Bounty related to a man for whom I had the greatest respect, Sir Rob Fennick, who was knighted as an environmentalist. And Rob has since passed away. He was the best facilitator of people I've ever seen. And to me, if we're to manage our fisheries and the impact on our oceans to best advantage, we need to have people sitting around the table. So we need to have commercial, iwi, we need to have recreational fishers, environmental groups, everyone working together for what's best for sustainable fisheries and what's best in terms of improving our environmental impacts. That is my dream, and Ocean Bounty really is about achieving that.
Wow. And Amy, first of all, congratulations on joining the fishing industry group. That's a huge achievement for a young lady like yourself, in my view. Did the old crusties around the table give you a hard time?
Don't know about that. Remember, I haven't just joined. I was pretty much brought up at the Greymouth Wharf. But anyway, Mum used to manage the landings at the Greymouth Wharf right from when I was born, and Dad's been a fisherman out off the Grey Bar for the last 45 years. So very familiar with the fishing industry, that's for sure.
Graeme, tell us a bit. What are we going to see tomorrow night, Graeme?
Tomorrow you're going to see the Jones-Moore partnership in full bloom. So Amy's family, Craig and Penny, and fishing on the Cook Canyon. Of course, you wax lyrical, as to others. But I mean, to me, it's just a really nice vibe in this story. It's got a good coast feel. It's a no bullshit story. This is what we do. This is what we're good at. And if you don't like it, bloody tough. And I think one of the underlying messages I really like is that we've got to pass a baton to our youth that enables them to grab opportunities with both hands. And the commercial fishing industry on the coast represents a great career path. And I think it's been undervalued. But that's where people like Amy step in. You talk about us old crusties. Well, this is the new generation here, right here with Amy. And we've got to make sure they're empowered to do their absolute best to improve what we gave them by way of an inheritance. Because I reckon they can do a better job than we can.
Oh, Amy.
No pressure here, Graeme. But to Graeme's point around the collaboration of all those groups he mentioned earlier, like that's where the future is. It's in collaborating beyond companies and methods, and it's about the future of our industry and our sector across the board. And it's not even just within fishing. Like there's a food and fibre youth council set up that I'm part of in New Zealand, where we're looking at opportunities to create employment across, the whole range of dairy, horticulture. Like we have to think differently, and by being able to actually properly collaborate, we are going to save ourselves decades, and we need to do it now, and we need to be smart about it, and this is definitely a big step in the right direction for that, for sure.
Now, interestingly, Bruce, I was speaking to Peter Maish yesterday at the Westport Deep Sea Fishing School, and Amy had taken a group of people there recently, and already 2 young people have signed on for courses in Westport for careers in fishing, and he believes by the end of the year it'll be 7 of them. So, look, there we go. Success instantly by virtue of the sort of initiative that Amy is engaged in. Fantastic.
Yeah, talking about success, which one have you managed to get Penny in behind the camera? I mean, she's easy.
She's a hard lady to get hold of, but I mean, that's probably part of where the story is really reflective of a lot of not only fishing families, but on the West Coast, there's a lot of families that do a lot for the communities and small communities all around New Zealand. And Mum's a good example of that. She puts a lot of time back into the local community, as do a lot of families on the coast and all around these coastal communities in New Zealand. So I think tracking her down to get her on camera is the hard part, but she's obviously got a lot of good things to say, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, I reckon families on the coast epitomise the idea of synergy, the 1 + 1 = 3 equation, where collectively and by working together, you can achieve a hell of a lot more than ever you would have if you're left to your own devices as individuals. And that's to me, the guts of the coast. That's the backbone that holds things together. It's family.
And as you know, Bruce, coasters are very pioneering, and I think you'll see a lot through the stories that you're going to see tomorrow night, but also next week as well, where you'll see the West Coast Trades Academy has got these 25 students up to the Westport Deep Sea, like unprecedented numbers there. And you see this enthusiasm of like our youth coming through from all areas of the West Coast, and we've just got to really like nurture those kind of keen and eager people that want to be in the seafood sector and beyond, and just get them out there into these roles. So,
actually, Amy,
yeah,
I have to correct you because the Deep Sea Fishing School is not on tomorrow. It's actually the week after. So this whole story is about your family. Next week we start with Sea Lord foreign crews and lead into improving the opportunities for our youth, and that's where the Deep Sea Fishing School visit comes up. So that's another episode.
We've got this Saturday and we've got next Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got shag around, mate.
This is exciting.
It is.
Well, look, coasters, it's how do you get Mr. Fishing in New Zealand on the Coasters Club? I'm just very excited. Graeme, thanks for joining us. Amy, you're that breath of fresh air that the industry's needed for a long time. And a few of the old crusties will be sitting there on Saturday night and next Saturday night at 5 o'clock on TV3, and they'll be saying, oh, yeah, I suppose. Oh, not the way I would have done it. But anyway, can you see it? It's going to be exciting. Graeme, you get the last word.
Well, that's exactly the thing. It's may not be the way that you or I have done things, but there's a better way going forward. People like Amy and the next generation, to me, are smarter. I grew up in a rape, pillage, and plunder environment. Really, whatever was in the oceans or in the mountains, you went there and you shot it, or you caught it. You didn't give a shit, really. You thought it was limitless. But we know it's not, and we know that for our future generations, we have to manage things accordingly. We have to be smart, as I said, in terms of sustainable fisheries, and we have to be even smarter about our environmental impact.
Coasters, 5 o'clock tomorrow night, TV3, don't miss it. We'll catch you later.
Cheers, mate.
See you there.
Right, now we're still here, guys, but don't panic. So now what we're going to talk about now is just a quick one. We're going to play this at about 4 o'clock tomorrow. And hello, Amy's gone. Don't worry about it.
I felt like I was getting a lead on. I don't know where I was about to end up. Anyway.
Here we go. And, Coasters, hey, 4 o'clock Saturday. What a beautiful day out there. And there's lots happening on the coast. But I tell you what, Amy, what's happening tonight at 5 o'clock on TV3?
Ocean Bounty, Greymouth Bar, North Beach Fishing, Cook Canyon. You got to see it.
Mr. Fishing, Graeme Sinclair, what about you?
Yep. Well, I'm actually not putting my appearance in. I'm leaving it to Craig and Penny Jones, Amy Moore, and people like yourself. And, of course, Tanya.
Coasters?
I mean, to differentiate between the mayors, I think I should call you the Stallion, which makes more sense to me.
He's a bit of an old stallion, mate.
Yeah.
5 o'clock tonight, TV3, Coasters, you're going to absolutely love it. And we'll catch you later. Right, we're out of there. Now, we're into next week now. And so we're just going to talk about, how popular.
Can I say the next one that Amy's in on is not until the 7th of August.
No, it's not. It's the week after, hon.
Yeah.
No, it's next week.
No, you sent your...
Oh, I've put your crook.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right, hon. You're right. Sorry, Sandy interrupted me.
I've been trying for hours.
She has been trying because the next week's show is actually not the one. It's the one after.
It's the 7th of August.
7th of August. No, that's fine.
7th.
I can fix that. You won't even notice it. You'll be right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We need to get you on here, Sandy.
No way.
Yeah, she looked a hell of a lot better than me.
At least I've got clothes on this time. The woman behind the man.
Yeah.
Okay. We're about to record again. Coasters, Bruce here, and Ocean Bounty. That first episode was unbelievable. Amy, you're a bloody star.
Thanks, Bruce.
Well, the star is rising again on the 7th.
Oh my God. No pressure.
Is that the 7th of August you're talking about?
7th of August, yes.
What's happening there, Graham?
Well, we've got a Sea Lord story, really, is the way it starts. But we're looking at foreign crews on the offshore factory trawlers, how that came about and why it's continuing, but with an emphasis on recruiting local people. So, in other words, working collectively towards the idea of having full local crewing. So, to do that, of course, you've got to start with our youth, and that's where Amy comes in. She takes a group of young people to the Westport Deep Sea Fishing School and basically ignites the thought of a career in commercial fishing.
Amy, tell us about the journey you've been on to bring, 25 young ones heading for Westport. That's unheard of. Tell us about the journey.
Yeah. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, it is unheard of, and it was very much done through the West Coast Trades Academy, who did a fabulous job of advertising that around the local high schools. And we really wanted to pilot this initiative on the coast so we can look at rolling it out elsewhere. But to me, around getting a lot of local people involved, it's a really long-term way of thinking. So I can't do one talk at a high school and get 1,000 students sign up to work on our factory trawlers. It's a long-term way of thinking. So we started and we get a couple of people interested, and then we got it up to 25, which we're really proud of. And providing we can, which we will, look after those students and make sure that they then go into roles within the industry, we can obviously leverage that and get more people involved. So very much a long game, and we're committed to ensuring that we can bridge that gap long term for sure.
But in talking to Maish at the school yesterday, Amy, you'll be pleased to know 2 of those kids have already signed on, and he's expecting it more. So there you go, instant success.
Yeah. Awesome, and we just had such a blast. We took the students up the coast road. We had them down at the net shed learning how to tie knots and do all sorts of things, and down at the Westfleet factory, and then up at Westport for fish and chips and into a life raft and all sorts. So yeah, it'll be a great episode and really reflective of the work that's been done to get those people through. So awesome.
Well, Graeme, 27 years of gone fishing. I feel like I've watched it from the very first episode, and you've become, you're more well known than the Prime Minister.
I doubt that, especially at the moment. But look, what I've done over that period has been a great privilege. And 5 years in, I wound up with a disease called multiple sclerosis, which I do not wish on anybody. So for 25 years, basically, I've been driving a wheelchair. And my argument with that is, you're not leaving me out of a bloody adventure. So find a way to get me on a boat or in a helicopter, on a mountain or on a beach. I don't give a shit, but don't leave me out of the fun. But we are blessed just to live in this country, and if you live on the coast, you're doubly blessed. So make the most of it. Don't make excuses. Get out there and make bloody life happen.
What a great bit of advice. Now, the coast, as you all know, Graeme Sinclair, Amy, we live in God's own, don't we?
Oh, yeah, the coast is amazing. You can do anything and everything there. We're so lucky, and exceptional place to be brought up. You know, coasters call a spade, so it keeps you very accountable, and that's a good thing.
Well, I'm really excited about the progress.
Can I just make a comment?
Sorry, Graeme.
No, that's right. In the first episode, Bruce, you made a comment about how the resilience of the coasters was built around things like eking a living out of the ground or the forest or whatever it was. They were hardy souls, and they still are. You know, and I'm young enough or old enough to remember that my parents, uncles fought in the Second World War, and they fought for something that was great, I think. And it was our way of life. My uncle Stuart is buried in the Grey Cemetery, Stuart Marshall. He fought in Europe, he got captured, he was in a prisoner of war camp, he escaped. He's a hardy soul. You can't keep a coaster locked up, can you?
No, I agree. And so we're heading to Saturday night, and it's the second episode that's got all about the coast in it. It's the same time, it's 5 o'clock on TV3. Amy, you get the chance to wrap this one up.
Well, I think coasters, you definitely want to see this one. What we've set up on the coast with the West Coast Trades Academy, and I have to say Tanya Washer has been fantastic at driving that as well. And it's really something that the West Coast should be proud of. A lot of people were involved in making that day happen, and it's a real reflection of how resilient coasters are. We tried something once and it didn't go to plan, so then we tried something else and it did go to plan, and I think we need to stick with that approach because there's always going to be a way if we're committed.
Well, coasters, Graeme Sinclair, thank you so much for joining us. Amy Moore, I love what you're doing, I really do. And watch TV3 this Saturday night at 5 o'clock. You won't be sorry. So thanks, guys, and we'll catch you later.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Well, there we go, guys. I'll go and play with a bit of everything.
Bloody good.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, I'm excited to see it as well.
Thanks, Bruce. Fantastic.
All right.
How many
well,
people?
Sorry, Graham?
How many people does the Coasters Club reach?
Our videos are seen up to 300,000 times every 7 days. We have
Wow.
30,100 followers. I send an email out twice a week to 34,500 people who've subscribed, and these interviews will be out within 5 or 6 hours. They'll be the first one will be right around the place. It's great fun. I have no idea why it's got the following it's got, but I love it. I think it's great fun.
Good. I think you're doing a bloody great thing, mate. Fantastic.
Very cool. Bruce, could you please tag us, Ocean Bounty, when you do the posts, and we can share it and stuff as well, and we'll get Seafood New Zealand to do the same, just to get people excited.
Yeah.
Ocean Bounty it is, and I'm following your page so I can share anything I see that looks like it's, if Graham's on it or Amy's on it, we're into it.
Okay, Seafood New Zealand are putting on their Friday update, they're devoting that all to Ocean Bounty and this story in particular.
Hey.
Cool. I wonder if we should get the video to them too, Graham. What do you reckon?
Why not?
Yeah, they might want to put it in the update. It's just a link someone can click on.
Yeah, true.
Hey, what a team of marketers we are.
Yeah.
You never, you might be
Enjoy your Friday.
Okay, thank you.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Amy.